DJ Leroy.
Night Watchman, how you doing, buddy?
I'm well. How are you?
Not bad. Night Watchman, I was just curious. Is there still a United States Department of Education? Just wondering.
Is there still a United States?
Wow. Come on. Yeah. Yes, I know he's coming with some smoke, but
I just asked the question. I don't have an answer for it.
So the short answer is yes. And why do I know that? Because there is still a Soul Lounge Primetime.
Okay.
Remember, if he had been successful, we would have been taken off a long time ago.
Nah, man, we exist beyond time and space. He can't stop us.
well, with the first salvo that I launched,
yes.
I mentioned the U.S. Department of Education.
Yes.
So I think that's something that we need to talk about, especially here in New York City. What do you think?
Oh, yeah. Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Well, then, you know what? We also have a guest who's going to be also one of our interviewers, man. That can only be the one and only Lloyd Cambridge. Let's bring him out here, man. Come on. Yes. You got him, Night Watchman. Bring him out. Yes.
Here we go.
Welcome, Lloyd.
Hey. And remember, Lloyd, you know I'm always giving shots fired. So I'm not saying from the Republic of Brooklyn. I didn't say that, right?
The best borough. We already know.
I knew he was going to get that in there. I knew that. Well, also, Night Watchman, we also have another returning guest, and that can only be the one, the only, Ivo Philbert. Yay!
Good morning.
What's up, buddy? How you doing, man?
I'm always good. Life's too short not to be.
Yes, indeed. And I'm just checking. We are not on the island of St. John, are we?
Not today. We are in the hamlet of Harlem.
You hear that, Lloyd? The hamlet of Harlem. That's right. Just throwing it out there. And last but certainly not least, and as a matter of fact, just based on the entity that she's bringing, you know what, Night Watchman, she will absolutely come back to the cookout. How you doing, Doc?
Oh, it's good to be here, brothers. It's good to be here.
All right, Dr. Tammy Pate in the house.
Yes. So now, as a matter of fact, Dr. Pate, now we have some real cred here. Okay, we talk about education,
Listen,
and you go ahead.
Yes, and yes. I'm trying to be in the house, so yes.
All right. Well, you know what? I'm going to start off Night Watchman with one of our returning people, and that, of course, is Lloyd Cambridge. Because Lloyd, this is about business development. This is about all mentorships. This is about it all. So I need to know from you, what do you do, man, in that space, man? So tell me.
Again, thank you for having me back. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Always good to see you. So I founded a company called Progress Playbook. It's been around for about 8 years now. We work with entrepreneurs primarily in New York City, helping them to clarify their ideas, helping them to activate their businesses, launch them, grow them. We do a ton of work with NYC residents across the city and helping them to, again, start, operate, expand. And all of the businesses that we work with have a social enterprise component.
Yes. Okay.
Meaning that they need to make their neighborhoods better in some way. So yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you for that. And you know what? Also, talk about a funny 6 degrees of separation or less, man. Night Watchman, did you know the connection here with Ivo and Lloyd?
Yes, I did. No, I didn't.
See, Ivo, I need you to expand and let me know about this connection because Night Watchman, he's giving me shade here. But go ahead.
Well, I'm just so excited to see Lloyd. I haven't seen Lloyd in probably about 20 years. But Lloyd is actually one of my former students when I ran the Inroads organization many, many years ago.
Wow.
Great to see him.
Nice. Okay. And I'm not familiar, so do tell me about Inroads, if you can.
Inroads is a national organization that places underserved students in internships with major corporations across the country. Wow. So really, we work with students throughout their college career with internships as well as development, helping them to understand how to engage in the corporate arena. And the whole goal is for the companies to hire them full time upon college graduation. That is my previous life.
Thank you for that, Ivo. Dr. Pate, it's your turn. So as
Let's see, who am I?
the Senior Executive Director.
How about that? Of business
Okay.
development.
Exactly.
Former superintendent of schools, former founding principal, former teacher, a lifelong educator. But today, and for the last 2 years, I've been the lead at the Office of Business Development within New York City Public Schools, and it's been an incredible journey.
So, Dr. Pate, I'd like to know. So, let's say, as a vendor, a Black and brown vendor, are there opportunities there?
Oh my gosh. There are a lot of opportunities. In the 2 years that we've been in position doing this work, we have more than, I think the rate of increase of spending to MWBEs is more than 200% increase.
Wow.
So there is a lot of opportunity. There is a lot of opportunity. People think about schools and only think about what? Children and books, maybe. They forget that there's facilities. They forget that there's the actual physical plant that needs to be taken care of. So that needs a lot of light fixtures, tile flooring, paint, all of those things. They forget about training people to do the work that they do. We forget about meeting special needs, like students who are in temporary housing and our social emotional wellness. They forget that we do a ton of parent engagement, right? Thinking about opportunities to bring families into the school and into the life and education of the children. So there's a ton of opportunities. And then there's countless of our central offices, which is our business offices. And, that needs soup to nuts, everything from Xerox paper to chairs. So there are a lot of opportunities for MWBEs, a lot of opportunities for small businesses.
All right. And you know what, Ivo, Dr. Pate, one of the things I understand that there is something happening on May 9th. So, so please, Dr. Pate, go ahead. Tell me what's going on.
And Ivo, we got to talk about May 8th as we lead up to it. Great. Let Ivo talk about May 8th, and then I'll talk about May 9th.
Awesome. Well, Curtis, as you guys know, I am with the Jackie Robinson Foundation.
Yes, indeed. Yes.
And we are actually partnering with the New York City Public Schools Office of Business Development and hosting a small business event. They're going to invite a curated group of small business owners to the museum to really sort of experience, as you have, Curtis, the Jackie Robinson Museum. And in that, we're going to highlight Jackie Robinson's entrepreneurial career, right? So the things he did. Most people don't know that he started a construction company to build homes for low-income people. He co-founded Freedom National Bank, so Blacks can get loans and mortgages back in the day. He had a clothing store in Harlem. So helping those small business owners understand Jackie Robinson, too, was a small business owner. So you'll get a chance to experience the magic of Jackie Robinson Museum.
Well, Ivo, remember, this is not your first rodeo. You have had a number of young people and schools come through the museum just to tour and learn the history. So have you been impressed or discouraged by some of the lack of knowledge or awareness? Because remember, Ivo, I didn't know about the construction firm. So please do tell me, have you been impressed?
Well, I think what we've had, Curtis, everyone knows 42. Everyone knows Jackie baseball, he brought Calabarry, all of that stuff. And what we are doing is expanding people's knowledge about Jackie Robinson and the impact he had, but not just Jackie Robinson, but also Rachel Robinson. And what we found is there's such a gap for the young people in understanding our history. But many of them are actually enthused when they come to the museum to learn about Jackie Robinson because they know the baseball stuff and they're like, oh my God, he did that too. So we're really encouraged by that.
Yeah.
Excellent. And Dr. Pate, I heard the 8th. What about the 9th?
Man, listen. All right. So this is our second annual. I'm wildly excited about this. LA is always telling me, calm yourself down, but I can't calm down because this is an opportunity like none other. So on May 9th, we're hosting the second annual Small Business Conference. That will be at John Jay College. I'm gonna drop links and all the flyers for you all. And that is a really unique opportunity. see a lot of small business engagement around the city all the time. What we don't actually see is the creation of spaces for businesses to upskill. I'm gonna use that language, to upskill in real time. So the breakouts that we offer during the small business conference are really intimate opportunities with industry experts, as well as some of our corporate partners, to really get some connection and tool building within that moment. And so many leave with, access and opportunity to have a website designed by Google. We
Wow.
have, yes, they leave with all of these different tools, and they come with a lot of goodies in their gift bag. That's part of the, will you be willing to present? Okay, what can you offer our small businesses? The day will be punctuated by a keynote and fireside chat with our own Queens native, Damon John.
Oh, Shark Tank. Go ahead now.
Right. And also the creator of FUBU, which changed the landscape of urban wear across the city of New York and across the world. So we've got a lot to be proud of in our keynote speaker. He is always giving back to community. I got to let you all know that. As a district superintendent, he every single year does a holiday celebration for children, does a lot of gift giving, brings a lot of energy into the schools, into the district. And we're so thankful for this partnership that we've had over the years. And our good friend, Charles Fisher, who is also a part of Damon's team, really helps to facilitate this. So we're looking forward to that. He's going to do a book signing, like I said, a fireside chat. So you'll be able to ask questions of the Shark.
Wow.
Right there in the moment, this intimate event, right? Not on TV, not at some big venue, but just us. A small number of people, 400.
Nice, small and intimate. I love this.
A small, intimate gathering of 400 small businesses. You know how many billions will be in that room?
Wow, incredible. So Dr. Pate, you're actually saying that my co-host, of course, the Night Watchman, he can actually do his pitch?
You can come and do your pitch, sir. Listen,
I'll be there. I promise I will be there, and I'll be pitching.
Yeah,
I just think that isn't it a great opportunity?
Yes, absolutely.
It's a great opportunity. And so we just want to get that word out and have people, especially as small businesses, we know what the hustle is, right? I know what the hustle is. I had a small business. It's resting right now while I do this work, but it is difficult. And so you need all of the allies that you can get your hands on. And I really pride myself, and LA and I as a team, and the Office of Business Development prides itself on being allies to small business owners. And we proved that over the years. Folk know, they were calling me this morning at 7:00 while I was trying to get ready, talking about, different things. We're just trying to be an asset and an ally to the folk who really help New York City run. Small business is everything. It's the gasoline in the tank of America. And so, let alone New York, right? Of America, small business. And so if we can do something that helps lift the head and the outlook of especially people of color, especially women-owned business leaders, then we're doing a good job.
Beautiful. And you know what? One of the things, though, I have to go back to Lloyd. I have to give him props. So yes, 42 is of course from Brooklyn. Okay. Yes. So he can claim that. All right. But now Lloyd, I have to tell you, because I know the work that you do. So you've heard this. So I've gotten my certification, right? Does money start falling from the trees? What happens? What do you do to prepare those entrepreneurs?
Meaning, like, once they get MWBE certified?
Yep.
Yeah, I think, a lot of it to me is like based off of relationships. So I always advise entrepreneurs, small business owners to develop a relationship development plan. It's like a sales funnel. It first starts with building awareness. So you need to be at this May 8th, May 9th, build the awareness.
Right.
And then from there, it's about developing the relationship and being like really intentional with keeping folks up to date with your work and what you're doing and why it matters. So whether that's a newsletter or that is, a phone call or text, just, building their relationships and then allowing those opportunities to to kind of like every single opportunity that I've received over the last 8 years has come as a result of a relationship. So you get from level to level, I think in business, literally through the currency of relationships. And there are other things you can do, putting your name on different, like vendor lists and things like that as the opportunities come, and making sure that you have all of your assets ready to be able to respond to opportunities when they present themselves. But at the end of the day, to me, it's that relationship development.
And Lloyd, I was wondering, because, this particular office, because I know you and your work out of SBS and other agencies, but I did not know about this office that Dr. Pate heads up there. Did you know about this?
No. I'm so yeah, I'm really excited
yes.
to hear. And also I would like to develop a relationship with Dr. Pate.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We're excited for that, for sure.
Nice. And what I love, Dr. Pate, I love networking, and Ivo knows as well, networking with a purpose.
That's right.
Not just to be in the room. You want to know who's in the room that you're sharing it with. That's what you want. Okay.
Who all is at the cookout?
Well,
I like that.
Yes, and Night Watchman, I did see you licking your chops. That I know that you have some gems that you want to drop. So what you got for us, Night Watchman?
Well, I mean, the gem that I would drop is just that we have to put into context where we are about being in a small business in this country right now. Because we're at a point where employment is not certain. You have, we grew up with get a college education, get a good job. You could get a job at a corporation and have a career at a corporation. Corporations are now shedding employees faster than a bad habit. They're using AI and automations to find ways to reduce their employed staff. And so the other thing is the tax code in this country favors being in business versus being a person. When you are a person, you're paying taxes. You can't deduct anything. I mean, there's a lot of things you can deduct, but at the end of the day, you still pay a high amount of taxes. Yes. Businesses are set where you can write off, virtually anything. And I'm being facetious about it, but if you dig deep into it, you'll see you have billion-dollar corporations that pay no taxes. Wow. So the country is set up to favor being in a business entity versus being in a person. So we have to shift our focus as people to really be about business. We're talking about standing on business. The kids keep talking about standing on business. Well, you have to have a business to stand on business. So as leaders, some of us elders, we have to kind of teach this new paradigm to young folks to understand that you need to think about business. You need to think about recurring revenue streams, wealth creation. These are the things that will allow you to get through the next few years as there's an attack on, we have MBE, and MBE started out at MBE and then it became MWBE, and even as it was watered down and then it was called DEI, and now there's a wholesale attack on all of it. So none of it is certain. Even MBE programs, the state programs were in New York. I think they will likely survive for a while, but even state programs are being attacked by the federal government under this particular administration. So we have to start relying more on ourselves, on creating business opportunities within our own community. And that's how we're going to sustain ourselves. That's how we're going to create wealth and opportunity for ourselves. So talking about business and the term small business, we should understand that when we talk about small business, we're talking, it can be revenues or it can be the amount of employees. But in this age where you can do digital business, you can have a small number of employees and an unlimited
revenue stream
in terms of what you can create. So it's a great opportunity to be in a small business, but you got to learn how it works. So
beautiful.
Those are my gems.
Thank you, Night Watchman. Every now and then, I don't want to say you surprised me. Okay, but yes, Ivo, I know you, and you know what? Because I know you, I know why people show up for you, because you show up for them. Okay, and you have to tell me about the work that you do with the FDBA. That's one, but also remember Harlem Eat Up, man. You the man, man. So please, Ivo, tell us.
Well, Curtis, let me start with again. My everyday is Jackie Robinson Foundation Museum, and I work closely with folks like Dr. Pate and L.A. Dunn to really provide an opportunity for people to get exposed. In terms of giving back, I think it's so important to give back. And I know Lloyd talked about relationship currency.
Yes.
And that is so important. And part of building that is being engaged in your community and making a difference. So the Frederick Douglass Boulevard Alliance, FDBA, we work with all of the businesses along Frederick Douglass Boulevard from 110th to 124th Street, right? How do we advocate for them? How do we become a liaison to the police department for them? How do we host the Open Streets program? How do we bring resources and knowledge to them so they can be successful? So I'm the co-president of that alliance. So it's very fulfilling work because it's all about community, the businesses, but also the people who live in the community. And then certainly Harlem Eat Up back in the day, I was a co-chair, I was a chair actually, of the foundation at the time, which is now dissolved, but we made a difference in the lives of people. So giving back is so critical, and it's part of building your relationship currency.
Absolutely. And you know what, Dr. Pate, I know the previous, as a matter of fact, the previous chancellor, Dr. Banks, was also on Soul Lounge Primetime. And so we now, of course, have a new chancellor. And I just want to know, in terms of her commitment to, let's say, the empowerment of the small business community and relationships with DOE, how has that been?
It's been pretty awesome. Every time, New York City is unique in that every time we have a new mayor, or even sometimes in the same mayoralship, we'll have multiple chancellors. And that chancellor always has sort of their own marching orders, their own direction and goals, their own priorities. We count ourselves really blessed to have a chancellor, our own former chancellor, David Banks, who really spearheaded a lot of the innovation around MWBE. And then our current chancellor, Melissa Aviles Ramos, who is when I tell you 10 toes down advocate of small business.
Nice.
I am so thankful to be able to continue this work under her watch and under, the watch of current leadership. It's pretty awesome.
Beautiful. And you know what? Because I heard you, Lloyd, in terms of relationships, having these relationships are important. Because certainly we do know at certain agencies, there are gatekeepers. So you have to have those relationships with those gatekeepers. Have you found, because I know your personality, I know what you do, so I know that you know what you can smooth it over. Has it been a pretty good time in terms of building these relationships and gaining entry to these hallowed halls?
I think like as a business owner, it is, they say sometimes like work on the business and work in the business, in the business. So you get sometimes bogged down with working in the business, trying to stabilize it or get it off the ground, that sometimes the relationship piece, which is critical to your growth, take a back burner. I think that, there's always going to be seasons, it's cyclical, right? It's ups and downs in the economy. But I think through all of that, there are things that you can do to, strengthen and safeguard your investment, your assets, which is your business. And that is really just making sure, being intentional about just getting out there. I think in terms of the relationships that we're building right now, I think that everybody's pretty much on the same page. Everybody knows that it's kind of a difficult season, a difficult time, and everybody's trying to do what they can to support each other. That's what I'm seeing in the marketplace right now. And it's beautiful to see. I think there's going to be a lot of innovation that happens because of the difficulties that a lot of organizations and businesses are kind of experiencing in this season. and it's just the season.
Gotcha. And you know what? Funny enough, I will also say that we certainly do know that one of our Supreme Court justices, right, is actually a beneficiary of affirmative action, DEI. So we know the particular climate, and you heard what Night Watchman said. And would you say that you, Lloyd, have been a beneficiary of affirmative action, DEI, whatever you call it? Tell me.
No,
well, hold it. Not saying that you do not have the qualifications.
Yeah.
But because there was at least this particular thing that we're looking at, we got to go to Lloyd. His firm, they know what they're doing. They are competent and highly skilled.
Yeah, I think, since I'm going to go way back, to, what Ivo was just talking about, inroads. Like, it all matters. Like, that was an organization that, if it wasn't for Ivo and inroads, I wouldn't be able to do the things that I'm doing now. That led me to go work for. My internship was with Lord and Taylor in the buying department. That I was able to get a job at JP Morgan Chase, supporting them in their apparel, textile, and jewelry industry, lending money to Harry Winston and Zale and other businesses because of, inroads, really. And then that led me to work for SBS, which then led me to start my own organization. But and now I'm kind of through my organization going back to neighborhoods like Brownsville and Harlem and East New York and all of these neighborhoods to provide the same opportunity that was afforded, I think, to me, going back to inroads, and even I think up until this point right now as well. But I think it's hard work. I work my ass off.
Gotcha.
But there is, I think people want to see these neighborhoods do well, because when the neighborhoods do well, we all do well, right? So that's really what it's about. It's about how can we ensure that the people that need to have well-being and what we call human flourishing, like that can exist for everybody, because we all benefit as a result.
Beautiful. That was well said. And Night Watchman, I saw you also nodding your head too, man. You have some thoughts on what was just said, man?
No, I don't.
Dr. Pate, what did I just say? He will always give me some surprises. So, but Dr. Pate, do tell me. Now, you heard in terms of, let's say, the attack on affirmative action, DEI, all those particular things. And we do know right now, New York State, New York City is not feeling those effects yet. They may be coming, but how are you preparing you and your people for what may come?
So I was, Lloyd, thank you for sharing all that you said.
Nice.
when someone is preaching, it inspires something in you. And I was thinking back to the work that we've done in Office of Business Development. The theme for this year is Get Ready, Stay Ready.
Wow.
So that's our theme for the year. And it's also about grounding ourselves deeper. So we do a lot of partnerships in order to build stronger relationships, stronger roots. But Get Ready, Stay Ready, we were able to launch that in February at Caucus in Albany. Yep. Yes. And so we hosted an event that had the most dynamic panel that you've ever seen. So we had Commissioner Gross, we had Jason Clark from Empire State. We had, people really sleep on private sector. We had Tanya Pope from University.
Yes.
And she dropped all kinds of bombs, because that university by itself is in the billions and like over $4 billion in spend to MWBEs.
Nice.
We had quite a few. We had a co-sponsor. My co-sponsor's name is escaping me. My gosh, is my brother. It will come. But we had a great conversation, which actually gave birth and launch. We use that as a springboard to launch our Expand You. Thank you, LA. Our sponsor was Kenneth Eby. You all know him.
Oh yeah, Kenneth. Yes.
When I tell you that dude he's amazing. He's amazing. He's about this work. He is wildly skilled up. And knows the work, knows the world of work and this business. But we use that to launch Expand You. And Expand You is our teaching, instructional, and mentoring arm in the Office of Business Development. We have attorneys, we have financial houses, we have marketing execs and experts, and we offer these courses and classes free of charge.
Wow.
So folks can upskill. And when I tell you, yesterday we had a session led by attorney India Shneed Williams, and she, not just an attorney, she is just an amazing and phenomenal teacher and leader in the law. And she had led our cohort through examining a previous solicitation, a contract opportunity. And they themselves became the rater in understanding which contracts won and why they won. So identifying sort of the elements for success begins to lay a really good foundation for small businesses in terms of how they plan for the future they desire. In addition to that, we have folk who are leading them through the MTAC process. That's a special kind of purchasing tool that we use within New York City public schools, which allows businesses to have a much greater spend in the system. So we do a lot of work. Get ready, stay ready is the theme. It probably will go into next year, who knows? But the idea of that is to make yourself stable, even in a changing political, economic, social landscape. Right? If you build your business on some solid ground, let that concrete cure perfectly, you're going to build something that can last and can weather any storm.
Wow.
Preach, Dr. Pate, preaching.
Now you weigh in. Okay, so but having said that, Ivo, I know about Ivo Philbert Consulting. I mean, and working with the small businesses. You got to tell me what that particular paradigm has brought you, man.
Sure. Well, Ivo Consulting has been around for a number of years, and really I work with small businesses, nonprofits, and community organizations, really focusing on strategy, process, and people. Right. So it's been a labor of love, but certainly, like Dr. Pate, sometimes you put it to rest as you do the other work that is so important, so critical to what we do. So we pull it out every now and then these days to help out with certain organizations, but really it's making sure that small businesses understand. I think Lloyd talked about this, right? It's difficult sometimes when you're in the business to work on the business, and how do you balance that, right? So it's making sure that businesses understand how to align those things. And sometimes you have to get others to help you with that, right? So if you have the right people in place, well, let's start with the processes, or the strategy, I should say. If you have the right strategy, you create the right processes, you have the right people to drive those processes, you are able to free up yourself to do the other things that are so critical and important, like relationship building, to be successful. Nice.
And well, you know what? And I'm probably going to do all of you, because from Dr. Pate to you, Lloyd, to you, Ivo. Remember, you guys also have, as they say, your own business, right? So, Lloyd, I'm coming to you. Did you start your own business while you were still working your 9 to 5?
Yeah, I was talking about starting a business for a very long time, and my friends got tired of hearing me say, "I want to start a business." So I decided to put my 2 weeks in, and then I had such a great relationship with my employer that she wanted me to stay on for another 6 months, part time, while I worked on my business part time. So I was able to. So I think people don't like their jobs, and I always advise even if you don't like it. Again, going back to the relationship, if you maintain and have a great relationship, like things like that is possible for you if you are leaving your job, for you to kind of stay part-time and kind of get stable. So, once I did that, I was able to secure like 6 contracts in 6 months.
Wow.
But I was able to, So, but again, that all came as a result of the relationship that I had built prior to fully leaving the job. So to answer your question, it was kind of like I had 1 foot in the job and 1 foot in the business, and then I had a nice kind of what they call it,
a runway, a ramp.
Yes, a runway to sustain myself. So
Gotcha. Very good. And Dr. Pate, I heard also that your business, right, as they say, on pause while you do this work. So tell me, what did you start your business while you were doing your 9 to 5?
Yeah. You know, I have a different, I've done a ton of consultancy, but my company is not actually a consultancy. It's textile and manufacturing.
Interesting. Wow.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. And so that came out of, I'm a creative, and you know, when your brain gets too busy, you need to create something, right? To form a good, healthy balance. But I will tell you this, engaging in my personal business really has informed me about the challenges that small businesses face, right? So while I was working full time, and then in my evenings, my weekends, and any time that I can find, I'm creating, making, doing that side business. It really highlighted that you know it's hard out here.
Yes.
It's hard out here, and not just in resourcing. Resourcing is hard. It's getting harder because of this time that we're in.
Yes.
But actually getting like people to sort of value what you have and what you do and pay a competitive price. You know, we want everything for $1.15. And you're like, but it took me 30 hours to produce this.
Wow.
So, you know, it's that kind of thing. But that has informed a lot of how I try to support small businesses now.
Beautiful, beautiful. And Ivo, certainly, you know my wife, Karen, you know that she's a voiceover talent, right? Now, funny enough, before, let's say prior to, of course, the COVID and lockdown, she worked for an event planning firm. And remember, everybody was having their galas. Everyone was having their special events. But then once COVID came, it ceased, right? But then, talk about, you know, God sometimes just brings these opportunities. BIN, Black Information Network, that came on, Tony Coles, right? And then suddenly, my wife has no longer the survival gig, which was the 9 to 5, the event planning firm, but now her voiceover stuff starts to take off. And the rest is history, because she's also doing audio books, all those particular things. And like I said, so you tell me about Ivo Consulting. What was that? What was the impetus that makes sure that you did your thing, more focused in terms of this consulting space?
So, absolutely. So Ivo Consulting was born about 16 years ago, Curtis. I left Inroads and was like, what am I going to do? And a lot of people coming at me for advice on different things, helping with organizations. I'm like, why not, you know, make it a thing? Yes. And it's also the stuff that I love to do. And I always tell people, if you do what you love, you'll never work a day in your life.
Nice. Yes.
So I started doing that. And when I talk about strategy, process, people, and then really ultimately performance, it is, again, the relationship stuff. And even over the years, what I've learned is hone into the things that you do, and you do extremely well with your eyes closed, right?
Yes.
For Ivo Consulting is I help people around relationship building. That's one of the critical tenets of what I do, right? How do you engage the customer? How do you really make sure people understand their role in making sure the customer has a great experience when it comes to the restaurant space? So it really is taking the talents that I have, embracing those talents, and sharing my gifts with those organizations who really need the help. So Ivo Consulting is really making sure, and I focus on people that look like us. So it's really making sure that we get to excellence in everything that we do.
Nice. And you know what, folks, that he thought he was going to get away with this, okay? But he also has his own thing. And that, of course, is what's next. Night Watchman, do tell.
Well, right now, what I'm focusing on is AI and automation for small businesses, because this is it's the difference maker right now. Virtually every business in the country is trying to figure out how AI and automation can help you make your business more efficient and run more efficiently. And so I work with basically showing businesses not only how to use these tools, but also use AI for a tool for super learning. Because with AI now, you can, number one, you can upskill yourself. You can create your own curriculums. You can you can use the AI to help you develop strategic plans, marketing plans, business plans, content development. AI employees are now available, so you can actually have a voice employee, like let's say you are, let's say a business like an HVAC consultant who's out in the field all the time when they're working and don't have time to pick up the phone, but they need to answer the phone because they may be getting calls for new business. So now you can have an AI voice employee who can answer the phone, tell the basics about your business. They can schedule appointments for you, or they can forward your call to an actual live person if it's urgent and deemed necessary. So there's a lot of a new tool set that businesses have, and basically we're about both giving people the education and access to the platforms that they can use to do those businesses.
Beautiful, beautiful. And Night Watchman, I didn't know this. Lloyd, you got to tell me, are you also embracing and looking at AI as the future of business and learning?
Of course, yeah. I think it makes you more productive, efficient, and definitely are integrating AI into all of our programs, supporting entrepreneurs, small businesses, and also learning how to leverage AI. So yeah, it's definitely the future. Embracing it fully, completely, use it every single day.
Let me hear. Go ahead.
That's really it.
Okay.
We're going to be more productive and efficient. I think that's what AI provides. I went to San Francisco a few months ago. And I had like the kind of.
I mean, come on, that's the home base of everything AI and tech. Come on, man. Go ahead. Yeah.
No, I'm just saying, like, I got in the car and it was a robot. Like, there was
no. Come on, really?
Yeah, they have the self-driving cars all over San Francisco.
Yeah, I had to try it. I was like, let me try it.
Yeah.
But I felt a little guilty because I'm like, this is a job that I'd rather pay a human, than this company driving. So I think that there's some trade-offs, and we have to, also just be careful about like what AI really means. Fully embrace it, but just be careful with like what it means for humanity, And
Gotcha.
Absolutely.
Okay, no, because Night Watchman. Okay, because I hear you're about to ask something or say something. Go ahead. What you got?
Well, I got some information last week that was pretty exciting and encouraging. So I have a good friend of mine who just got back from Rwanda earlier this month. In Rwanda, they had the Global AI Summit for Africa. Over 2,000 participants. World Economic Forum was there. Bill Gates was there virtually. The head of NVIDIA was there virtually. And basically 2,000 people, most of whom were young Black people from Africa. And what they're doing with AI over there is astounding. They're running first forward into it. They're looking at it as a means to basically raise, millions of people out of poverty.
Wow.
I saw a video of a robot dog that was built by some young people in Africa that speaks 25 or 30 different African languages. I mean, yes, this is real. And also, I found out that Rwanda is Wakanda. This is not the Hotel Rwanda stuff that we thought about that's from decades ago. That's not where the country is right now. He reported back to me that Wakanda is cleaner than the U.S. Their hoods are better than our hoods. The whole country is on a higher level than we could. He said they're living better over there than we are here. So it behooves us to look at the opportunities in Africa. And the other thing about it is that with the new current environment, Africa is basically saying, hey, we really don't need the U.S.
Wow.
So there are definitely some cross opportunities that we need to look at in terms of what's going on there and how the African diaspora supports itself. So I was blown away by what I heard and what I saw because, again, he actually sent me some videos you know, so I saw the robot dog, and you know,
I got you. I got you. Well, you know what? Like Ivo, I certainly do know about what you've done also in the Caribbean. Has there been any conscious effort on your part in terms of, let's say, Africa?
Not conscious in terms of Africa, but of course, you know, in the Virgin Islands, very connected there. That's my hometown, and making sure that the young people there understand the importance of entrepreneurship and small business and so forth.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, that's important. And of course, Dr. Pate, I'm thinking to myself also, educational tools being put into the schools, having vendors who, you know, also may have books or other teaching tools that they can bring to the public school. Because you know what? I thought, you know, that Tarzan went to save these savages. I didn't know that, you know. So please tell me what's been going on in terms of the stuff that we bring.
Absolutely. So we just actually celebrated the second annual Campus Coin event in South Queens.
Wow.
And that is an amazing partnership with Bavon Joseph, who is, we know him, he's in the financial spaces with David Adefeso, another, you know, private funds management. That's a lot of zeros in the building.
Yes.
And the Queens South Superintendent, Dr. Josephine Van Ness, along with her team, David and a bunch of other folk who pull together this opportunity for young people to explore being an entrepreneur. So they are programmed in classes. They receive instruction from guest presenters and other curriculum that Bavon has provided, and they learn the ins and outs of business creation. And then they have the opportunity to actually create their own business. And so we had about 250 young people who created a business, and then they get to, in essence, like a Shark Tank. They get to compete for cash prizes. We have over 1,000 high school scholars, who are in separate spaces. St. John's College was gracious enough to host us this year. And so we took over the campus and had them doing pitch conferences. And so if any of you would like to join us next year, we'd love to have you as judges. We had guest judges from everywhere. We had guest judges really from everywhere in the work of business, the world of business and finance, production, you know, clothing and technology. There's a ton of tech and IA-based businesses that these young people came up with. Really wonderful, and to hear them talk about the technical language associated with running a business. So if we can get this sort of in their chests early on, then this is the way that we can predict the future, because we're creating it.
Wow. So
small business owners.
And doctor, for some reason, when you were talking about textile manufacturing, you know, I'm thinking about FIT and something like that.
Absolutely.
So when you working in that particular space, let's say, especially we know merchandising and also fashion design. So was that what you were targeting, or tell me? So
for my personal business, that's not truly my wheelhouse. When my textile versions is woods and metals and things of that nature.
Okay.
Yes. So so my granddad, my grandfather, like, I can tell you the story. My parents moved away when I was about 19 years old, and we grew up in Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn, and we were fortunate enough to have a house. And I was left in this house at 19 years old.
Wow.
That was, I don't know, someone's idea of yes. And my grandfather felt and was compelled to make sure that I could survive in this space. And so from a very, very young age, he taught me to lay floors. He taught me to do plumbing. He taught me to do electrical.
Wow.
Yes.
All of these things. So I could keep this house from falling down on my head. And so that was a real blessing at the time to help me to mitigate any of the chaos around. I don't know. I guess I was a homeowner without actually realizing it. I just felt like I was a hustler because right. But that has carried me through my life. I got to tell you, it's carried me through my life. So it's I have had the opportunity. I thank God for my grandfather, George Washington Maddox.
Wow.
My grandmother, Mary Maddox. I thank God for them because they created this opportunity for me to be able to just, I don't know, not just survive, but have this opportunity to yes, of course, make money, but have an expression that's different and separate from maybe what is my day-to-day work. So that's the field I'm in. Elements is the name of the business, and it's
Beautiful,
we'll
beautiful.
be back.
Love it. Love it.
Absolutely. And Ivo, you know, you've been around the world and then some. So we talk about the Virgin Islands, but also, you know, you got some history there in Atlanta. That's how my cousin knows you. So tell me about that, man.
Well, you know, I lived in Atlanta for a number of years, for about 5 years, bought a house in Atlanta. And that's really where Ivo Consulting was born, actually, in Atlanta. So, you know, we've lived in many places. We continue to work that we do wherever we are. So Atlanta is near and dear to my heart as well.
Nice. And you know what? And Lloyd, because certainly we certainly do know that Black folk in America trace their roots either from the islands and also the South. So do tell me your Genesis story, man.
My family is from the South as well, Savannah, Georgia.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. My mom and pops were born in Brooklyn. Second generation Brooklyn, but grandparents and things are Georgia residents.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. And of course, Night Watchman always knows that I pivot to him because remember he claims Harlem, but
Stop yourself right there. Just stop it.
Go ahead, Night Watchman. I was just going to say,
Stop right there. I'm saving you. I'm saving you from yourself and from me.
Okay. Okay. I hear you. I receive you. Thank you, Night Watchman. Lord, you cannot make this stuff up. So we are about to get into a lightning round, and with the lightning round, of course, I want your answers to be thorough, comprehensive, concise. Okay. So we have, of course, and Ivo, because you brought it up first, and that, of course, is yes. I'm looking at you. So I'm talking about May 8th, and also what is to come there, and also how does one get in touch with Ivo Philbert? I want to know. Come on.
Sure. So May 8th, again, it's a program of the New York City Public Schools Department of Business, Office of Business Development. They are hosting this event. We're supporting it with them. They'll be inviting
Nice.
a cohort of small business owners, again, to tour the museum. To learn more, go to Open for Business at schools.nyc.gov and mention Soul Lounge Prime.
Woo! Yes. Yes. I'm loving this.
And of course, and then they'll get an invitation from the office.
Wow.
How do you get in touch with Ivo Philbert? Again, iphilbert@JackieRobinson.org. Instagram, Ivo Phil. iPhilbert at Ivo@IvoConsulting.com. So.
Ivo, thank you for that. Excellent.
I love that.
Dr. Pate, showtime, May 9th. What's going on? Talk to us.
Oh my gosh, May 9th. So I definitely dropped it into the chat. There's the information. There's a bit.ly, a registration link. Please use the link and the email address that Ivo just mentioned, the open, the number 4 business at schools with an s.nyc.gov. And my team will absolutely get your registration link and get you hooked up for May 9th. A full day coming. We got you covered from the morning through the afternoon, all of your meals, everything, some good swag. It's a beautiful event. Be there. I can be reached again also at that same email address, open, the number 4 business at schools.nyc.gov, or Instagram at Dr. Pate NYC. That's Dr. Pate NYC, and on LinkedIn at my full name, Dr. Tammy Pate. Not to be confused with the other Dr. Pate, which is my sister, Mia Teresa Pate, doing some amazing things as well. But there's two of us terrorizing and also New York City public schools.
Wow. Yeah, we're gonna be all right. We're gonna be all right. Now, needless to say, Lloyd Cambridge, and I was just going to call you because of Cambridge. I was going to call you Harvard. That's what I was going to do, but I decided not to do that. But you've been also contributing your content and stuff to also some public platforms such as with Harlem Community Development Corporation, SBS, and whatnot. But you've kind of like disappeared into the shadows. Might you be coming back? I just want to know that. And what's happening with Progress Playbook?
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. Working in the business, working on the business, we're growing. We got a really big contract with the New York City Office of Neighborhood Safety.
Beautiful.
So just hired about 5 new people, which is really great. We're doing we have a summit that we're doing on June 14th at Brick in Brooklyn.
Oh, yes. Mm-hmm.
Our summit it's called the Renaissance Summit. It's about the intersection of neighborhood development and entrepreneurship. So how can we empower entrepreneurs to transform their neighborhoods through business? So we have 5 NYC residents who are presenting or demoing their businesses about how they're leveraging business to make their neighborhoods better. 2 panels, a keynote, all the things. So we'll let folks come out to that on June 14th. It's Saturday. Meals, all the things as well included. So that's what we're up to right now, and just continuing to grow, and many more things to come. So.
Beautiful. Night Watchman, do you have a closing, let's say, question, comment? You tell me.
Just thanks to these great participants. The work that you guys are doing is so critically and vitally important to our communities. And I look forward to interacting with all of you guys, both at the cookout and beyond.
Wow. So Night Watchman, you're telling me that they will all be invited back?
Well, definitely. Plus, Dr. Pate, look,
yes.
She's going to set up the grill,
I'm going to make that reason list.
After we know she's she's a polymath, she can do it all.
Yes, indeed. Well, you know what, Night Watchman, this has been so interesting and informative. Just take us home. Why don't you do that? You want to do that?
I'll do that. So,
all right, thank you.
You've been listening to Soul Lounge Primetime on WHCR 90.3 FM, the voice of Harlem. You can find us on Monday nights at 7 o'clock on the radio, and we also live stream this video version at 8 p.m. on Mondays on YouTube and Facebook. And so we thank you for joining us, and you can always find us on Monday night.
And remember, everyone here is coming back to the cookout.